We know how isolating, exhausting, and sometimes lonely motherhood can be. Let's commiserate together.
Let's face it, our kids and mom life are a beautiful and mysterious new world to navigate, and we need someone to talk to about it.
Let us be your new BFFs. You never know you need it. Until now.
I'm Heather.
I'm Jess, and this is
Just Us Gals.
Mommy.
Well, if there is one thing that all moms are unanimous about, it is raising healthy families. And that is where Brooklynn Heck comes in from Purely Healthy. Brooklynn, thank you so much for joining us on Just Us Gals. You are one of the gals today. We are honored to have you on the show. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
We are talking about raising healthy families. We're talking about food, more specifically the ingredients, but we're also going to be talking, with Halloween coming up, about how to navigate the tricky situation of kids wanting to devour their candy bag and how to navigate all that stuff. I'm 6 years into this. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm hoping you can give me a little insight. But before we do that, of course, we like to start every show off with some wins and losses. So Brooklynn, how are you doing this week? I know it's the teacher strike. Mine has a little bit to do with that. How are you doing, Brooklynn?
Yeah.
Pretty good. So far, so good. Yes. Been thinking of so many moms going through this right now, though, because it's absolutely crazy. Yeah.
We're on week 3.
Kind of back to, the COVID times, when the
I
kids
bet.
are at home, they're working and, trying to do things. So, not fun, not ideal, but yeah, I'm doing good this week.
Good. Do you have a win or a loss this week?
Yeah, so I have a really big loss.
No.
I actually think that it's not this week in particular, but it's a really big one that I definitely want to share because I think a lot of people are going to be so shocked when I say what it is. But basically, my son, he's in grade 5 now, but in grade 3, it started where he would come home constantly asking to play this Fortnite game.
Fortnite.
The majority of the kids in his class were playing this game in grade 3. And if anyone doesn't know what Fortnite is, it's just a shoot up game. Basically, you're just shooting at people.
Thank you for the clarification because I've heard of it, but I don't really know.
I know Fortnite dances, but that's my knowledge.
I know Fortnite by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, there's M&M skins and all of these things. So there's some good things about it, but the end goal is basically shooting and killing people.
Okay, got it.
Lovely.
So grade 3, he's 8 years old. We're yeah, absolutely not. You're not going to be playing that game. And then fast forward to grade 4, and literally he's one of the only boys not playing this game in his class.
That's so tough.
It's starting to affect him socially. He's coming home and he's Mom, I can't even have conversations with other kids because all they do is talk about this game and I don't know what they're talking about because I don't know what it is. I can't play it. And so all of that's kind of dropping in my head and I'm still standing strong. I'm it's not appropriate. It's not, age related to you, so we're not doing it. Then one day I pick him and 2 of his friends up from a birthday party, and 2 of his friends go into the back row of my vehicle and leave him up at the front so that they can talk Fortnite because they know that he can't because he can't relate. And so he's literally...
Break your heart.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm witnessing it firsthand and I'm my gosh, okay, this is he's not just using this as an excuse, it's actually impacting him socially. And so then, I start talking to other moms who let their sons play this game, and reluctantly, in about January of last year, my husband and I were okay, we're going to have clear boundaries, but we're going to let him play this game. So we let him play this game. He loves it. He's so happy we're letting him, blah, blah, blah. 6 months goes on and my son just stopped sleeping through the night. So every single night he was coming into our room in the middle of the night. He was scared.
Oh, man.
He, needed to be calmed down. And so after this going on for 6 months, I'm like, Bud, like what's the scary dream that you had? And he's like, I can't talk about it, no. And I'm like, no, like in order for us to like move on, like I need to know like what is it that's triggering you, what's scaring you, so that we can so I can help you. And he's like, well, I just had a dream that this guy came into our house and like shot all of us.
Oh, no.
And I was like, whoa, we are past the point of like monsters in the closet here.
Yeah.
Like,
those are like my nightmares.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just, holy cow, like for a 10-year-old to be thinking this, like what the... And so I'm like laying, cuddling him back to bed, telling him it's okay. And in my head, I'm like, what on earth? Where is he getting this from? And then just all of a sudden, this huge download hit me and my eyes popped open and I was like, Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like,
Dang.
how did I not clue in? When you're in these like survival moments and you need someone like on the outside to come in and be like, duh.
Yeah.
You start playing Fortnite. Now he's, has all this anxiety. He can't sleep at night. He's scared of everything. Like he's being triggered. It's the video game. So the next day I talked to him and, I'm like, hey, I was thinking and I wonder if that Fortnite game could be, possibly what's creating like those nightmares. And he's like, well, yeah, because it was the F67 gun or something, like a specific gun that was in Fortnite was the gun in his dream.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sometimes like I'm scared to walk away.
No idea what it means.
I just made up that gun name. It's probably something very
So
completely
funny.
different. I have no other way. But yeah, he told me he was like scared to walk in our house because he was scared people shooting him from the back. Like horrendous. So anyways, that is my big...
So, but what did you do? Like, does he not play it anymore?
What's the solution?
So yeah, I really had to I think be strategic about this because I knew how important it was to him and that he finally got to play. And if we were we're taking Fortnite away, he would probably never tell me what he was scared of again. He would not be open with me. And so I just had a really good talk with him one day and put the context into his perspective where it was almost his idea to want to stop Fortnite.
Smart. Tricky,
Sneaky.
tricky.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, because I just really didn't want him to resent me and that sort of thing. And so we completely eliminated Fortnite, Xbox, everything for that matter right now. But it's been a very big eye-opener because a lot of times I talk about toxins or illness, and as a society, we really normalize these things and these exposures to our children. It's just normal. Everybody's doing it. But if you take a step back, it's actually not normal. It's just common. It's not normal for a 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old to be shooting at people and
Totally.
You know what I mean?
I don't think I remember that much. We were that age. I remember when we got older, kids in my grade were playing Call of Duty. And I guess there was 007, but I don't know.
I can
it feels
say
it's so much more prominent now.
When we had one of our first computers, I don't know if you know the game Doom was set up on it, and it was really pixelated and stuff, but it was a shooting game, and you go around the corner, and I would play that with my stepdad. When I don't know how old I was, but maybe about that age. I can't say it affected me like that, and I didn't play it often, and kids weren't talking about it. It wasn't a social thing. It was every now and then. But I look back on that, and I'm just that probably wasn't appropriate. But I don't think it really affected me. But
No.
Brooklyn, my takeaway from your story, though, is that you know your kid best, right? And you knew this wasn't appropriate for him. And, right? It's hard to stick to your guns. I get it. And especially if you're seeing your kid being excluded right in front of your eyes. But just my takeaway is moms know their kid best. And you knew this wasn't good for him. And look what happened, right? So
Yeah.
good for you.
That was a really big lesson to like pull back up, pull back and do, yeah.
But it's also a
So,
lesson for him too, right? Like you were saying no, and there was a reason you're saying no, and now he
yeah.
learned why, right? So
Yeah, and it's really cool now because he sees that connection and he's just like, he almost doesn't want to. Like, he actually felt relieved, I think, when we had the conversation and
Yeah.
decided that it wouldn't be best to do it. I almost felt he was just like, I don't have to, like, even though he loved it, but he's like, I don't have to do this anymore.
and he
Like,
can
it's
still chat about it with his friends because he knows what it's like.
not enough. Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
I mean,
good for you. That's tough.
I think I relate to him. I tend to dream about stuff that I'm watching or doing. And I went through like a crazy DDR phase when I was a kid. And I couldn't sleep at night because all I would see was arrows, 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 arrows. Every time I would dream, and then I would wake up and be like, I'm not playing DDR. I have to stop. I'm not even. And so like, I can actually see how as a kid, nonstop. I was dreaming about arrows for weeks. And like, I
Oh my God, Heather,
get
that's
it
the
though.
funniest thing you've ever said to me.
I haven't told you about my arrow dreams. I had them.
so funny
It
to
was
me.
wild. Like I would wake up the next day and felt like I hadn't slept. So I felt like I played DDR all night long.
Oh my
But
gosh.
like if I was playing shooting games, I probably would have been in the same boat.
Yeah, totally.
Like, dang.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, the child's brain isn't developed to like logically reason like that's just a video game, right?
Yeah.
And so at night, like the
Scares
mind
you.
processes, and
Totally.
that's what it's processing, and
Oh boy.
Damn.
Okay, well, Heather, how are you doing? How are you winning or losing? I know because it's week 3 of the strike right now. I know Penny's at home right now.
Yeah, she's loving it. She's like, I never want to go back to school. This is the greatest thing ever.
I
I
know.
love being at home. But it's besides the strike, I have a bit of a loss. Penny's had like a cold or a cough, not a cold, for like over a month, and it was rumbly and it wasn't getting any better. And I was like, oh, and I was looking it up, and I'm like, just seeing what it could be, and it was like, oh, it's probably just I don't know. I screw up if it's virus or bacteria or whatever that's lasting for too long. Or it could be asthma, and I'm like, nah, I have asthma. I would know if it's asthma. And so then I took her to the doctor, and he's listening to her breathe, and he's like, does anyone in your family have asthma?
Oh no.
And I was like, I do. And he like literally looked at me like, are you dumb? She's got asthma. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh no way.
And so my loss is just, I always thought, I'm like, I will know if my kids have asthma. I've had it my whole life. But for some reason I thought it would be a dry cough, not a rumbly cough. But yeah, if your kids had a rumbly cough that's lasting more than a month, could be asthma. So now she's
no
taking
idea.
an inhaler 3 times a day. So we're hoping that will just get under control. We won't have to do the steroid one, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So that's my loss, is I didn't recognize
no.
my own illness in my child. But you win some, you lose some. What about you, Jess?
Yeah, so you know what? I wasn't actually sure what I would share because the last couple of weeks have actually been fine. I'm not working right now, so I just like the strike's been fine, and it's been nice spending time with Emmy. But today was, I think the strike is having the hardest time on poor little Parker, my 4-year-old,
Aw.
because she still has to go to pre-K. And with Thanksgiving, and then it was a PD day Monday. Apparently, we wouldn't know because our kids weren't in school, but the daycare follows the school calendar. So she wasn't at school for a bit, and she has to go, but Emmy doesn't, right? And so this was the hardest day of my whole life sending my kids to daycare. That she didn't want to go. She was kicking and screaming, and I was like carrying her out of my house. She's never done that before. Normally, she throws in the towel. She's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. She's like, oh my God. And it's like, it has everything to do with the strike because Emmy hasn't been going. Before the strike, we were in such a good routine. Drop Emmy off, drop Parker off, go. And she only goes 3 days a week. So it's not like it's all every day. But today was a really tough drop off for Parker. So that's my loss.
That. I just tell Chloe that Penny's still going to school.
Chloe
has no idea.
Parker doesn't either. But then Emmy goes, what am I doing today? And I'm like, we'll talk about it later.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I've literally looked at Penny and been like,
yeah, exactly.
going to school
this.
today.
Blah, blah, blah. I get to go to Baba's today. Like, no.
I know. You're going to school today. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm not opposed to lying to our kids if it's for that reason.
Keeps the peace.
Yeah, keeps the peace. Okay, now that we've all decided that we're losers, let's get on to the meat of the content.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, tell us a little bit about Purely Healthy and why you started this and what your mission is.
Oh, okay. I feel like I haven't been asked that question in a while. Yeah, I mean, I started this by first getting into nutrition for my family because I had my own health issues after I had my second son, or my second child, I should say. And when I was in nutrition school, I had a friend that was diagnosed with cancer. And that's kind of when my eyes were like woken up to toxins. So I like had never heard of what a toxin was or anything like that. And I just thought like if I eat healthy, I'm doing really good, you know, check that off the list and, you know, things are golden. But when my friend was diagnosed with cancer, it completely changed everything that I learned and felt about everything because I learned in that process because I was doing a lot of studying, you know, trying to help her and, you know, going down rabbit holes. And I learned that cancer is now a statistic 1 in every 2 Canadians. Which, you know, you have 2 children, you think of one of your children, right? Those are the statistics. And then the biggest thing that woke me up was that 90% of these cancers are preventable through diet, lifestyle, and environment. So I had always thought that cancer was genetic and, you know, that it was just a really crappy card that you were dealt with if you got it and there was just nothing you could really do about it. But the statistics show that there's actually so much you can do about it. And there's so much we can do in our control to reduce risk for our families, for our children. And that's really when I developed Purely Healthy because I was like, there are so many moms that don't know this and that don't realize, you know, if we can reduce toxins, we can ensure nourishment and diet and lifestyle, we can balance all these pillars. We can drastically reduce the risk of illness and any disease for that matter for our children. So that's kind of why I've been doing what I'm doing.
So you have a couple courses actually, and I was actually telling Heather about your Purely Healthy Pantry, where it's just like a whole list of Brooklyn approved foods to buy at the grocery store. But one of the courses I did of yours was you helped me learn how to read labels and what ingredients I should avoid and what ingredients are good. So tell us a little bit about your focus. I know it's not on actually reading the nutrition label, it's reading the ingredients. And can you dive a little bit into that?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people and like what we were taught is that, you know, the nutritional info is like the key component where you're looking at like the sugar, the amount of sugar, the amount of fat, the amount of calories, that sort of thing. And that really doesn't matter because what matters is what the food is made out of and how it's been made is actually going to determine what your body does with it. So, for example, like somebody who is looking at the calories, like you can do 200 calories of a chocolate bar versus 200 calories of a steak. And those are going to have 2 completely different consequences on your body. And so when you learn ingredients and where your food is coming from, how it's been processed, how it's been made, it gives you all the power to determine what's actually healthy for your family. So it's just really getting focused and having the awareness of always looking at the ingredient label and having the knowledge so that you have the power to determine what ingredients are good and what ingredients are harmful.
Can you enlighten people a little bit about what are some of the key ingredients that you do try to avoid?
Yeah. So, I mean, like off the top, just like 4 really easy ingredients to always look for or avoid would be seed oils would be like a first one. And that's like your canola oil, your vegetable oil. Even though that sounds so healthy, it's just not. It's your, what else is there? Safflower oil. Oh my gosh, there's like 7
Sunflower?
or 8. Yeah, sunflower oil. What else is there?
I think grapeseed oil.
Grapeseed?
Yeah, any of those kind of industrialized seed oils that have been bleached and processed and deodorized, like these oils, it's gross if you look at how they've been made and what, like they were never meant to be processed. It was actually a byproduct of the canola industry. And so these seed oils have been bleached, they've been deodorized, and they've just been processed so that they're completely rancid, and your body is just takes them as super inflammatory when you consume them. So seed oils is a major one. Another one would be sugars, which is always more of a complicated topic because there's a lot of different types of sugars. I think there's like over 70 different forms of sugars, but sugar is always one to kind of be aware of. And then, of course, like food coloring, any kind of colors that have been added, like tartrazine, indigo, Lura red, anything like that, or any like red 40. Those numbers are really great to avoid because they are linked to hyperactivity, cancer, a lot of illnesses, and inflammatory diseases as well. And then the fourth one to always look for is flavorings, because in flavorings, they can really hide a lot of harmful ingredients. Even natural flavors, it can start derived naturally, but then it's processed and it's manufactured in a way that they can add harmful solvents and chemicals and toxins into our children's food in that way. So that's another ingredient to look for and to avoid.
And you said natural flavor or any kind of artificial flavoring as well is actually addictive, right?
Yeah, so they put chemicals in your food to adjust the flavoring so that it has a perfect bliss point. And what this is, the food industry uses bliss points all the time. It's basically when you consume a food, you're getting just the right amount of like crunch, salt, sweet. And so your body is obviously wanting more of it, but it is also not getting satisfied with it because it's not real food. So the more that you eat like these additives and these flavorings, the more you overconsume and the more you become addicted to these foods because it affects your mental like dopamine hits and those bliss points to make you want more. It's like it keeps you on the edge of just like, oh my God, that was so good and I want another. Oh my God, that was so good and I want another. So that's a way that they do it. And then they can also add MSG and certain types of flavorings that just make foods more addictive, more palatable as well.
Heather, how are you doing with this information?
I know. I'm always look at this stuff a little more skeptical. I don't say stuff in like a bad way. I just mean like stuff isn't all consuming of it all because I hear this and for me, all I think is like, well, what is left? Like there's sugar in everything. And so I'm always just like, I get very overwhelmed when I hear all these things because I'm like, oh my God, well, what can I do? I cook a lot of my food from home and even that stuff I'm looking through and I'm like, okay, well, I use a lot of recipes call for vegetable oils and all that. And, you know, if sometimes obviously it's not healthy to fry your foods, but sometimes I like to make chicken cutlets and you need something with a high smoke point. And usually that seems to be like a canola oil or maybe it's grapeseed oil. I can't remember. And so it's just like, then I get panicky because I'm like, oh my God, well now I have to figure out what to use for this instead. And I'm like, okay, I have to figure out sugars, but there's sugars in fruit and then there's sugars in this. And so for me, when I approach this stuff, I get very overwhelmed and I start to think like, how do I even approach it basically? And so that's where I think of it more of an overwhelming thing for me to try and figure out how the heck do I tackle this? Because I don't want to give my kids like chronic illnesses. So
yeah, of course. I think that's like a very common feeling, you know, is overwhelm. When you start to become more aware of this stuff, it's so great to be aware, but it's like that really fine line of like, yeah, keeping your sanity and teetering into, you know, doing more, like thinking about things differently. And I don't know, Jessica, like if you found this too once you learn ingredients, but like for me, I felt like once I learned ingredients, my overwhelm disappeared.
Yeah.
because I like it was so clear and able to determine, what sugars are good and what sugars aren't. And the more that I go into this world, it's like there's a healthier option for
Mm-hmm.
everything. Like absolutely everything. So I never feel like deprived or like restricted or that my kids are deprived because literally you can find a healthy option for anything. And once you learn ingredients, you're able to determine that. And so
Mm-hmm.
then it gets to be really easy because you're just like, I know that that one has the right
Yeah.
sugars. I know that that is. And so that kind of just dissolves. But I don't know, Jessica, if you feel the same
I
way
do I
or.
do feel the same way, and we're not perfect over here, and I don't think I'm striving for perfection because that's where I'll lose my mind, right?
Yeah.
Like something might have something in it that I know is bad, but like, you know what, something's got to give sometimes, and like I'm not striving for perfection, I'm just striving for better is my whole take on it. But if I'm trying to get my kids to eat something, actually, I'm going to rewind a little bit. If my kids want something at the grocery store, every now and then, like something a treat wise that has all the bad ingredients, okay, fine, we'll buy it every now and then for them. But
Yeah.
I want to teach them why they can't have it all the time. And I don't want them to have a weird relationship with food on like, okay, well, this one is bad, but this one is good, right? So how do you navigate that with kids? And I think that could be a broader statement too, even if you aren't like participating in this lifestyle, on how do you create that healthy relationship with food for kids?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, and this will go for Halloween candy too, is like it's our jobs as moms to protect our children as much as possible. And that's really, what I've learned over the years. But when you're looking at toxin exposures, it's not black and white. And Jessica, like just what you're saying, it's like there's going to be some instances where you're allowing these toxins or these exposures because of certain reasons. It could be because of cost, it could be because of, societal norms or all of these different things. I think that when you're looking at like reducing toxin exposures for your kids, whether it be through food or products, it's always a matter of limiting but not restricting. And so restricting is when you're like, no, we're never having that. That's so unhealthy. But like it's very like fear-based and it's very negative. Where limiting is like, okay, I'm just gonna do the best that I can. I'm gonna reduce exposures while I can. And the instances that they are having it, I'm not gonna get stressed about it. And I'm gonna let them have it sometimes, so that they feel satisfied. And the other component to limitation is not just limiting the quantity of it, but substituting with a healthier alternative. And so I mean that's what I love like about Purely Healthy Pantry and all, learning more and more foods that are becoming more and more healthy. Like there are so many food manufacturers now, moms who are building granola bars and selling them, and it's amazing to see when I think of 5, 10 years ago, the options that we had for our kids versus now. Like, yeah, there's a lot of harmful food on the shelves, but there's a lot of amazing, like, healthy foods that are coming on board as well. And so, if you can just substitute a better, healthy option that still tastes great, like a healthy candy bar, it's like a win win,
Is there
you
such thing
know?
as a healthy candy bar?
Well, I'm trying to think of a candy bar now. Well, I mean, there's a lot of healthy chocolate bars.
Right, yes.
There's so many healthy chocolate bars,
Mm-hmm.
and there are healthier candy brands now that don't have artificial colors or
Hmm.
flavors or like really harmful sugars. So yeah, so I just feel like as a mom, if you're feeling like you're, having to limit or restrict, I would definitely lean towards limiting versus restricting.
Right.
And when you're limiting, I would focus on substituting and reducing quantity just to reduce those exposures. Did that make sense?
It does. And I just And the idea of like trying to make things seem less overwhelming. You know, I think of the snacks I grew up eating and everything that I've had, and believe me, it was not good. But I just think, is it reversible? Do you know what I mean? Like, is the damage done? Like,
For you?
for me, for my kids, you know, like, it's just because I feel like some people could come into the mentality of it's like, well, it's too late now. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, it's definitely not too late. Like, it's amazing when you start learning about the human body and how quickly your cells turn over. Like, every second, your body is producing new cells and replicating new cells, and former cells are dying off. So the moment that you start, consuming more nourishing foods and reducing toxins, the moment that those cells are more and more healthy, and it's just like a gradual process that you see those positive effects. But like, even your bones, like, you get new bones every 10 to 15 years because your cells turn over.
Really?
Yeah, like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like your lungs, your, like, all the organs and tissues in your body, like, it regenerates and it repairs and it, reproduces. So the food and the exposures that you're putting in and around your body now are going to determine what your cells are made out of 5-10 years from now.
So I have a question, because I know there's extremes on this, right? Like, in my house, we try to live a very low tox life from food to products. And then there's the other side where people say, well, it's just trace amounts. It doesn't matter. It's just trace amounts you're exposed to. So what's your take on that when people say that? Oh, it's a little bit of chemical. It's just a little bit of Roundup. Like, right? Like, you talk a lot about glyphosate, right? So people are just a little bit. It's just a little bit, and it's fine.
Yeah, and that's a really old school mentality, because the way that toxicology used to work was that the dose made the poison. So basically, the way it was back in the day was, if you had X amount of exposure to this chemical, this is when you get harmful effects, but it's fine up until this point. But after further research and, productivity with studies and stuff like that, they have determined that it's not the dose that makes the poison. It's actually the type of chemical that determines the poison. So endocrine disruptors, for instance, like, they can impact your body in parts per billion, parts per trillion, like very, very small amounts can have effects on your body and disrupt your hormones. So that, like, old school toxicology, the dose makes a poison, is not up for argument anymore. It's been proven wrong several times. It's a really old school way of thinking. And so, yeah, even small doses can have very large impacts. And not to, like, overwhelm or stress you, because I know that can be like, oh my God, well, then every little thing we must be concerned about, we must stress and freak out over. You have to remember that stress is also toxic. And right? So there's
I can't win.
B, it's just the more substitutes that you can make, to reduce those exposures is really important. The other thing is that I would focus on the daily exposures. So it's like these little exposures every single day. Those are the ones that you should be concerned about. The little exposures that are happening once or twice a year or every once in a while at a birthday party, not concerned about, right? But it's the small exposures every single day. If your child is, I don't know, drinking Kool-Aid every single day, like, that is going to add up to be harmful. But if they're drinking Kool-Aid a handful of times a year, not a big deal.
Right, because you also want them, you don't want them to be that sad kid in the corner at a party, or like, Mom,
I know, my mom won't let me have Crush Pop.
Yeah, you have to think about the societal implications and the mental health as well.
Just out of curiosity, if you could pick, like, one really common snack or maybe daily thing you see that people have often to completely remove, if you could just pick one that's very common, what would you do?
One that just came to my head, I don't know why, is bear's paw. Bear paws?
Oh,
Bear.
I love bear paws. No.
Emmy loves
darn
bear paws,
it.
and those are one of those sometimes things. I never buy them, but my mom
Yeah.
will. And so when she's with my mom, she will get a bear paw, but like, sorry, girl.
Like the packaged ones, right? That
Yeah.
have like the banana bread flavored ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's one that moms would think probably isn't that bad. And it doesn't have artificial coloring, which is great, but yeah, I have a problem with bear paws and Welch's gummies.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are like
Welch's.
just pet peeves of mine because I feel like they're just kind of misleading.
Is it the
And so-
ingredients on it? Is
yeah.
it the marketing on it? What is it about?
Oh, so like the Welch's, like how they make it seem like there's fruit in those gummies.
Oh, real fruit gummies. Isn't that what they call them?
That's like what they say, and it's just sugar and corn syrup. Like I know like I had even talked to Health Canada labeling and stuff because like I was really adamant that Welch's is misleading moms, and I truly think that. But they have a loophole where they are allowed to do that.
And then the bear
It's so
paws
cruel.
is
Yeah.
there like natural flavoring in it? Is it like they're not organic either? I know you're a big advocate for organic food as well.
Yeah, for not for everything. I don't think that everything needs to be organic, but for certain things, definitely we should be trying to support organic for longevity of our planet, but also for the health of our family.
Can you dive into that a little bit more? Because I know there's a lot of people who doubt organic as well. And so like, why is some foods important that they're organic?
Yeah, so when you're buying organic food, I mean, one of the biggest toxin exposure that you're going to be avoiding is glyphosate, which glyphosate is sprayed on wheat crop. It's used to desiccate wheat crop. It's sprayed on GMO crops. It's a heavily sprayed pesticide that has a lot of health implications on your body. It's been linked to cancer. They've had many lawsuits where they have paid millions and millions of dollars to farmers who have used glyphosate and have gotten leukemia and all of these things. And they're spraying it on our food. If you even look at the bottle for Roundup or glyphosate, like it's
Which are
poison.
one and the same, right?
Yeah. Roundup, a main component of Roundup is glyphosate. So Roundup would be a common pesticide that is used. And so if you look at it, it's very toxic, and yet we're spraying it on our foods. Like, and then we're consuming it. It just, like, it doesn't make sense. It's, why would we deliberately do that? But they do that to get more yield for their crop and that sort of thing because I don't know, that's what they think. But in my thinking and talking to a lot of regenerative farmers or different types of farming, you can actually have a lot more productivity. So it's an argument that farmers have been sold on by glyphosate, by Bauer, huge companies that obviously want them to be using it as much as possible. And then that's also sprayed on genetically modified crops as well. And genetically modified crops were basically bred so that they can handle large amounts of these pesticides so that they can yield more crop and then have higher turnover and ultimately get sprayed onto our food. When you buy organic, that's obviously a really great highlight that you're avoiding that pesticide in particular. Organic food still uses pesticides. It's not completely pesticide free. And I think a lot of people who are buying organic might think like, oh, there's no chemicals here. But what the difference is that organic farming can use natural pesticides that have been derived naturally, where normal, traditional, conventional foods can be sprayed with synthetic pesticides. And so that's really the basis of the difference there.
Heather, check in.
Yeah, no, I was just, my whole thing that I think of, I have nothing against organic or anything like that, But for me, where I struggle, and I know a lot of people do too, and I'm hoping that you can prove this wrong, is that I associate organic and healthier options as more expensive. And going grocery shopping is already so expensive. I'm just like, especially now, everything is like, I can't even, to buy for example, like if I'm buying a pack of raspberries, sometimes it's like upwards of $6. And then I go to the organic section and that's like $8, $9 for the same pack. So I like can't afford to just keep buying $10 packs of raspberries every 2 days. So is it right to assume healthier and organic is always more expensive, or is there some cheaper options that are,
Yeah, I mean, definitely there are certain instances where organic is more expensive. I would recommend, if that is the case, to consider like frozen as an option, because that can be really great, to reduce cost, especially for like raspberries or fruit in particular.
What about freeze-dried?
Yeah, freeze-dried is great too.
Kids love freeze-dried food.
But I find that freeze-dried fruit can be more expensive.
True.
sometimes.
But I do
it
find
is
that like, so
expensive.
say fresh raspberries are $9 for a little clamshell. A freeze-dried would be like $11, but you get like double the amount, in my opinion, is you get more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're messy too. My kids get that dust everywhere.
Yeah, so true. All right, go
that
on.
could be a good option. So buying frozen for organic, and also just learning like what foods are better to buy organic, so that you can focus on certain foods and then not worry about the rest. So
Right.
usually like a general rule of thumb is like if it has a very thick skin on it, like a banana or a squash or something like that doesn't need to be organic. Although like pesticides can systemically be in food, most of it is topically. So just following that rule can help a lot. And then another thing is washing your produce. So if you're buying conventional, always wash your produce with some baking soda to remove that topical pesticide exposure. Is a really good way to do that. And in terms of just like thinking and assuming that organic is always more expensive, it's not always the case. And I know I made some reels on this like quite a while ago, but like literally side by side, there'd be an organic option that is less expensive than
Cool. Yeah.
conventional. So it might not be as common, but it definitely is
Does
possible.
exist.
Okay, so what I love about your approach, Brooklyn, is yes, of course, eating whole foods is best, but you're also fine with packaged foods if it's the right kind of packaged foods, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a mom at the end of the day, and convenience is everything.
Key.
Yeah, I've always been a working mom. And so like I used to work corporately for many, many years while I was going through nutrition school. And that's where I literally found my breaking point, because when I was in nutrition school, I was like learning, oh my God, all these foods are so bad. And I need my kids to be eating whole foods and all these other things. And that's literally how I just came to realize the more I learned ingredients, the more I could navigate and learn like, oh my gosh, there's so many healthy packaged food options. And that's what working moms or busy moms need today. Like, and that's really what Purely Healthy Pantry was developed, because so many moms would be like, what do I buy for this? Is it healthy? Is this a healthy option? Can I find a healthy option for this? And the more I built it out, the more I realized there are so many healthy options for absolutely anything. So you can simple swap anything out, whether it be food or products. It's very easy for moms to just simply buy something different. And that's all you have to do.
You know what? Actually, how I found you is your lunch kit guide. Heather, she has a free lunch kit guide. So it's just kind of like a checklist so you're putting the right stuff in. But can you give me an example of like what you put in your kids' lunches? And I know that they have sports and stuff at the end of the day. So what kind of snacks you would pack for them? Like, can you give us maybe a day in the life of Brooklyn with like your meals, packing lunches and snacks and stuff like that? Like, what does that look like?
Okay, well, most times...
And breakfast.
Yes, and breakfast too.
Breakfast, okay. All right.
Let's start at the beginning. You wake up and you do what?
What is an easy kid's breakfast that's not cereal?
Yeah, so it's funny because I actually hardly ever give my kids cereal, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I forget about it now, but we used to live off cereal.
I know, I did too.
And there are healthy cereal options, so I'm not like knocking that in any way. But in the mornings, I would say like our number one breakfast go-to is sausage. Like
Mm.
healthy sausages that don't have like nitrates added to them. So sausages we eat a lot in the mornings because I can literally, when I wake up, I'll run down, I'll put them in the oven, and then I'll go get ready, and we come down and they're ready. So it's literally just like a 5 minute process. It's super
Mm-hmm.
easy and nourishing, and then they're getting like a high protein first thing in the morning. We have been doing breakfast burritos as well lately, which has been kind of
Do
fun.
you make them,
And
like prep them, or do you buy them?
I just kind of make them quickly. So I buy like a tortilla and then I just add scrambled eggs and sausage in them. And then we add cheese and sour cream or salsa, cilantro, that sort of thing. But going back to the sausages, I usually will just pair that with some fruit. So it's
Mm.
so easy because it's just sausage, fruit, done.
Yeah.
I would say that's like a typical go to breakfast. And then for lunches, I have to say, like, I'm not someone of habit. And so my kids get like a very wide range variety of lunches quite often. Sometimes we'll do like a classic sandwich, or sometimes we'll do like more charcuterie style, just like sausage or deli meat with cheese and crackers. Because remember, like, I feel like you can find a healthy deli meat, a healthy cheese, a healthy cracker. And so there's nothing wrong with doing something like that, as well as like packaged snack. So that is usually what we would do for lunch is like a main course. And Jessica, if you've had the lunch guide, that's what it's all about, right? You have like a main course, you add a fruit, you add a veggie, and I think that's kind of the main process. And it makes it really easy to just be like, okay, and done, and done, and
Mm-hmm.
done. And then they have a really wide range of nutrients to support them for lunch while they're at school all day long.
And then dinner time or post school snack time.
So post school snack time, I would say is the best time to like get vegetables in if your kids are hungry when they get home from school, and just having like some veggies and dip out for them, like maybe little charcuterie there that they can just
Mm-hmm.
snack on and grab. We do a lot of pepperoni sticks as well. If we're on the go, like if I'm not going home and we're doing sports or something, we might do pepperoni stick for a snack. And then dinners are usually pretty basic. Like, I'm not a huge recipe follower, planner, that sort of thing, which might shock some people, but I'm more of like on the fly, what's in the fridge, what's in the freezer, building it and just creating
That's
something.
my style. Yeah.
Yeah, like a meat, a vegetable, and a carb, and we're good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you're talking about deli meat and pepperoni sticks and sausages, are you basic? Because like I'm assuming you want to look for what's the word, nitrate free.
Yeah.
And then, but what's your take on like sodium? Because I remember that was a big thing for a while. Like those can be really high in sodium. Is that
Yeah,
bad? Does it matter?
to me, it matters where the sodium's coming from, what the ingredient is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about sodium coming from processed table salt, yeah, I think that we probably should be avoiding it or not
Mm-hmm.
much of it. But if we're using like a natural whole form of salt, like sea salt or
Hmm.
pink salt, Himalayan salt, that sort of thing, then actually our body needs so much of that.
Oh, okay.
I'm adding salt to my water every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So like to try and avoid and stuff like that, I think is complete BS, to be honest. It
Mm-hmm.
just depends on the type of salt, and we actually need so much sodium to hydrate and stay thrive. So
How do you know what kind of salt they put into the deli meat or the pepperoni sticks or anything? Does it say?
Yeah, usually by looking at the ingredients because it usually will say like sea salt or that
Mm.
sort of thing. Or you could just clarify with them like, hey, what kind of salt is this to determine. But like most better brands should be using like a sea salt or a whole form salt. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just back to Halloween, I know you said
Hmm.
things are fine every now and then. So what is your approach on Halloween? Your kids go trick or
How do
treating and
we
then what?
navigate?
Yes, exactly. How do you navigate?
So it has definitely changed and evolved as my children get older, which I would say is something to keep in mind is like the age of your children and just who your children are and what works best for them. So when my kids were smaller, it was definitely more of an avoidance. Like, we're just gonna go trick or treating for a little bit. You have like one or two treats and then it's gone. Halloween's over. Like it was very simple when they were very little and didn't know what
Hmm.
was going on. And then as that progressed, we did the switch witch when my kids were, at that age where they did want to keep their candy but they did want a sweet toy instead. And so the Switch Witch was a really easy way to eliminate that candy overnight, right? Because you're just swapping it out for a toy or something that they're wanting instead. They leave their candy at the outside of their door before they go to bed and they wake up with like a little present kind of thing. So that is a really great way if your children are kind of I don't know, I'd say 10 and under, maybe 8 and under. That's a really great strategy. Now that my children are a little bit older, they're 10 and 13, and they definitely have more desire to have candy or hang on to their candy. More so my son than my daughter. So that's why I said it really depends on the child as well and to find a strategy that kind of works for your whole family. But I'm not fussed for the night out of Halloween and them eating candy. And I'm not like trying to swap out with healthier options every door we go to. Like, I'm not panicked about it. I let them have their fun that night. They have trick or treat, they eat the candy, they do what they want. And then, like we did last year, is I would let them pick like 10 or 15, of the candies they wanted to keep. And then we did kind of a switch for the remainder, but they just wanted money. Because that's
Smart kids.
want money to buy what they want, and so that's what we did. And so I think we will probably do something similar this year, but it's just a great way to limit, when we talked about limiting versus restricting, is like we're limiting the amount of candy that they're coming home with and keeping, so it's not lasting weeks on end that we have all this Halloween candy that we're having to deal with and navigate and that disaster. We're just avoiding that by reducing the quantity right off the bat. And then sometimes, like last year as well, I would let them swap out their candy for healthier options too if they wanted. Like we could go to the market and pick candy that they wanted to get that had better ingredients or that sort of thing.
Brooklyn, we'll wrap this up for you soon. I could pick your brain forever. Heather, do you have any more questions for Brooklyn? Like where's your headspace at, Heather, with all of this? Because I know Heather is the type of mom who likes to make recipes from scratch. So I guess you picture your life now after receiving this information. Where's your head at?
I mean, the only parts where I struggle with is obviously like snacks for me, because I cook pretty much all my own meals. And then also I was struggling with breakfasts, like what are quick and easy breakfasts that I can do that are still healthy? I think from what you've talked about, what would be most helpful for me would be that, what is it called? The pantry.
The Purely Healthy Pantry.
Yeah, the Purely Healthy Pantry, just to take the guesswork out of it. So I can just go. And then, and the other thing, my question would be, do you include Costco options? Because I want to buy all my snacks from Costco.
Yeah, I love Costco and I do a lot of reels and stuff at Costco because I feel like Costco is a really great way to buy affordable, healthy options. So yeah, Purely Healthy Pantry has Costco items in it, and it even has like baking stuff. So, you know, if you are baking at home, because there's certain flours that are a lot more healthy than others, or sugars, that sort of thing. So it has all that like laid out as well.
So we have a few questions from our listeners, from our jugheads, as we like to call them. So one of them is about kids' makeup. So I know that there are better options for kids' makeup, and how, I guess their question is, how do you navigate? They want to give, believe it's No Nasty's brand, is they buy that kind for their kid, but she wants like the ones from Winners and with all like the bad ingredients. So how do you politely say no to that one, but teach her that there are better brands, right? And I think the kid is 6 or 7.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it really depends on the age of the child.
And like, no, I mean, I can attest to this. Like, my 6-year-old loves makeup too, and I feel like if I say no, then she's gonna sneak it anyway. So why not just have it to play with it every now and then, right? That's kind of where my head is at, right? Like, strict parents make sneaky kids. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if she's quite young, it's probably the packaging that is drawing her to the other stuff, like at Winners and stuff. And so it would be really cute, you know, if you were like, let's get some stickers and like let's dress up your, you know, your healthier alternative makeup thing. I think that could be really fun for like a younger age child. But depending on the child, I think other ways just to reduce that exposure would be, yeah, like not letting it be on the face for too long where it's like fully being absorbed into the body. That could be something where it's like we're dressing up, and then after we dress up, we remove, you know, the makeup. That could be like a really simple way to kind of allow that makeup that's maybe not optimal into the household. And then another thing I think is just like being the role model. Like, I think as moms, we have what we say is one thing to our children, but it's really what we're doing for ourselves. And so just explaining that to your child, like, I love this, putting this makeup on my body because I know that the ingredients are really nourishing for my skin, and like, you know, but try and transition it into words that might be important to your daughter. Like, if, you know, sparkles are a big thing, then it's like, I love this, you know, natural makeup because it makes me feel sparkly inside. Or,
cute.
You know, just like really, making it about them. Yeah.
Another one is she has an infant. So in a pinch, what would be your recommendation for a pouch or a meal for a baby if you need to throw something together?
So I'm kind of a firm believer that babies don't necessarily need a certain baby diet, and they should be eating what you're eating. So, and I actually think that like it's really weird how, and the food industry has done it so well because moms feel like they have to buy their baby separate crackers and their baby separate granola bars and their baby separate food, and it's this whole other industry that they've created, when in reality your baby can just be eating the food that you're eating. And that takes off so much more mental stress and guesswork by just feeding your child what you're eating. You know, of course, making it the appropriate food sizes, or you're blending it, or that sort of thing. But yeah, it could be really simple. Just feed your baby what you're eating.
Okay, I love that. And then lastly, and then I do want to do a round of quick questions, and then we're going to let you go. Thank you. You've been very gracious with your time. This one's about supplements, specifically vitamin D for kids. I know a lot of doctors push vitamin D, but can supplements do more harm than good sometimes?
Yeah, 100%. I'll admit, when I first, you know, finished nutrition school and I was working with clients, I was like all about all these supplements and like, you need to get your vitamin D, you need to do this, this, this. And I am so in a different place from that now. The more that I have learned about the effects of taking very isolated forms of vitamins, and how yeah, you might be deficient in vitamin D, so it's great you're taking vitamin D, but then that's going to be impacting a whole other slew of things and how your body's actually metabolizing and absorbing that isolated form. So I am a huge believer in whole food vitamin supplements because I just feel like you can't go wrong that way. And number one before supplements is always food. Like if you can be getting more nutrients through your food, that's what your focus should be. That's what you should be spending your money on. And then if you're feeling like you do need supplementation on top of that, looking for whole food forms of supplements.
Okay.
And I think I remember hearing that you want to aim for like so many different types of vegetables and fruits and vegetables a week, and that's supposed to like really get you covered.
Yeah, but I think people like also underestimate the nutritional value of meat. You know, like vitamin D and stuff like that. Like you can get so much vitamins that are so absorbable for your body by eating meat, by eating fat, by eating butter, like very affordable, you know, like butter to me is such a superfood and it's a very affordable supplement if we're to say, you know. And so you can get your vitamin D sources from food like that. And of course, the sun, you know, we kind of sometimes forget that power source outside as well, which is super important.
Even in the winter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's still as powerful.
Even if it's not sunlight, just getting the light, you know, by going outside is equally as important.
Okay.
I've been sunburnt in the winter, if that answers your question.
Oh, okay, that does answer my question. Heather would.
Yeah, there's no raise. Yeah.
Brooklyn, are you up for a round of quick questions?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. What's one thing that's always in your fridge?
Ooh. I don't know. Sauerkraut is coming to mind.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fermentation.
Yeah.
Fermentation. What's your favorite lazy?
Like, sorry, I was just gonna say it's so easy to just set on the side of your child's plate, you know? If you're having a hot dog or something, you just add some sauerkraut.
And if they're not interested, is it the what you serve it 50 times before they might like it type thing? Keep serving? Is that your mantra?
Yeah, don't make a fuss if they're not eating it. It's just simple, like it's just an option that's available. And even better, you eat it if they don't eat it, you know, to show them that,
Okay.
what you're
What's your favorite lazy dinner?
I would say just like pulling meat out of our freezer, like whether it be sausage or something like that, a frozen vegetable, and then like a carb, like potato or rice or pasta or something like that is just like a no-brainer. Don't have to think about it. Balanced meal, easy go-to.
You're speaking my language. What's an underrated healthy snack?
Underrated healthy snack.
That one might be too tricky. If it is, you can say pass.
I think an underrated healthy snack would be like a plain yogurt for your child. And you can get plain yogurts that are obviously a lot more tart than others. But by just like adding applesauce or something into them, I think yogurt is like a really great way because it will help adjust their taste buds to bitter foods, which we don't do enough of these days. You know, we give our children so many sweetened, packaged, palatable, like those bliss points that we were talking about, where they just lose that ability to appreciate and like bitter foods. So I feel like a simple, like high-fat Greek plain yogurt is great. And to transition it with applesauce or something to sweeten it up, maybe some honey and cinnamon would be great.
Okay, love that answer. What's a food trend you secretly love or can't stand by? Or can't stand?
I secretly love the food trend of more protein, but like I feel like it's getting a little bit out of hand. Yeah. Like the protein popcorn and all that kind of stuff.
And now the Starbucks protein coffees.
Oh, I didn't even hear
That's not for kids, but I'm just saying. I've heard they're terrible.
There's like protein chips too.
Yeah, like I feel like the protein is a great trend because it is so important for immunity, our building blocks, everything. But we're teetering on the point of it going too far.
Crazy. Yeah.
What's one food you won't eat?
I feel like I eat anything. I will not eat crickets for protein.
I heard the crunch is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even powdered with dill. What is your full bad snack that you just will indulge in if you ever do every now and then? Like all dressed chips or like,
You know it's bad.
yeah, you know it's bad, but it's so good in that moment.
Can't resist.
I really like salt and vinegar chips. I would say that, yeah, that would probably be my one because in Canada we cannot get chips without seed oils. So that would probably be one that I really like. I love chocolate cake. That's like my go-to. And I have been thankful to find like a healthy option of chocolate cake
What?
that
Where?
at Mercado. What? Yeah, in Calgary, Heather. You would know. Oh my gosh, the ingredients are great and it is so divine, like so good. But yeah, so
Or
that
like
would
a
be.
healthy little mug cake. Could you make your own
Okay.
healthy mug chocolate
Yeah,
cake?
I don't bake that often. I'm not the best baker, but that would be an easier, more cost-effective option is to bake my own chocolate cake.
Yeah, I'll do the mug ones because they're so quick and easy, and then I don't have a full cake I have to eat.
Oh yeah.
Just a little
Just get
taste.
a little mug
Yeah.
cake to satisfy that craving.
Two more, Brooklyn. What's your favorite takeout spot?
Takeout spot. Yeah, I feel like we're really limited in Canada in this area. But if I have to, like, kids are starving, we're going through a drive-through, it would be A&W,
Yes,
hands
I'm
down.
nailing that. Okay.
Love A&W. Thank God.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, a lot of it is marketing and it's not the greatest, but I love how they're actually very customizable as well, which most people don't think of. But like you can go for breakfast and you can just get fried eggs and a hash brown, you know?
Awesome.
Right.
You can get a burger wrapped in lettuce if you want it. But
Their
I mean,
Nashville hot chicken sandwich, lettuce wrapped, is my ultimate treat.
I have not even tried that.
It's so good.
That's good, but I love their burgers. I think their burgers are great.
Love them. They're my favorite.
And you let your kids get whatever they want there?
Yeah, usually. Also, I usually will get like the gravy. Like if we're doing it,
You're
like
doing
we're
it.
doing it.
You're doing it. Yeah.
Okay, love that. And then, okay, one wellness trend that you do not buy into.
The vegan protein, pea protein sources, all that kind of stuff, I'm not buying it. No.
Fair.
What's up with pea protein?
Pea protein, I mean, it's funny because if you think of peas, you don't think of it as a protein source, right? So it's
Yeah.
funny that we're using peas to derive all this protein from. So if you just logically think of it that way, like it's obviously going to be very processed in order to extract that protein. And it's very detrimental on the gut. So I'm seeing a lot of like healthier foods now and they're using pea protein. And it's just so disappointing because it's like a trend. It sounds healthier. It's like a vegan option, but it's incredibly detrimental to the gut. Yeah.
Interesting.
Will
Okay.
create gut dysbiosis and all that kind of stuff. So I avoid pea protein pretty much at all costs.
Okay, I remember you saying that, but I couldn't remember what it was. So also avoid pea protein at all costs, but I was just like, what was wrong with pea protein again? So thank you for that clarification. I just know that you didn't like it, and I mean, I trust you, so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things that, you know, in 10 years we'll be like, oh, that wasn't very good, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, what are some of your final words or final thoughts for moms who are listening?
Ooh. I would say just to take it one step at a time. You know, Heather, I think of you as like the optimal mom where you're becoming more aware of things and it might feel overwhelming, but just try and transition that into like power for yourself as you become more aware. You can make better options for your family, and that's like the coolest ability. Be a mom and to have that control and that power to like build healthy children for the future is like, I think, just the most important job in the world. And if you're getting overwhelmed, just take a step back, you know, take a break, just do what you're doing. And then when you're ready, just take small bites at a time.
Yeah, makes sense. And I also like to think too that like, then they have this knowledge moving forward when they're out of my home and they can take care of themselves and maybe be better at it than I am.
Yeah, 100%. And Heather, like even you said, I think that during your childhood, you didn't eat very healthy, and that's my childhood as well. Like I grew up on Pop-Tarts and Gushers, corn dogs, and
So
We
like,
were all
delicious.
raised on Dunkaroos.
Love them. Yeah.
that was our generation. And you know what? Our moms didn't know any better. Like
No.
it was the convenience era, and it's just
That's what the snacks were.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're already, you know, making huge leaps with the next generation. And it's just like, it's so exciting and positive. I think sometimes we get like really caught up in the negative, but like this is actually like we're making a difference. Like every time we choose a better product, we're not only like sending dollars to a better company with better initiatives, but we're building a healthier future for the next generation. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah, I love that.
Voting with your
look at it.
dollars, some would say.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. So Brooklyn, where can people find you on social media?
At purelyhealthy.co on Instagram, and I'd love to have you there.
Okay, perfect. I love your page is very informative. People can learn a lot just by following you, and like I said, you have so many other programs as well. So thank you so much for letting us pick your brain today. It's been so much fun, and like I'm always learning too, right? I started learning from you, and I'm constantly learning as I go. So it is my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, ladies.